Our next game takes us out to the East Coast to Blacksburg, Virginia, in the Lane Stadium, where where Rutgers, I believe they're the Knights. I don't know why I drew a blank. The Rutgers Knights go on the road to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. This is a 3:30 kickoff on ACC Network. Interesting matchup, Big Ten versus ACC. And Brad and I were talking behind the scenes about, Rutgers' schedule the rest of the year. We won't get into that, but it's very fascinating. Uh, Virginia Tech favored by 3.5 in this one. Lane Stadium going to be rocking as always. Brad, I'll turn over to you. Both of these programs flying under the radar. Virginia Tech maybe had some momentum going into the year. We talked about them in the offseason. We know that the Virginia Tech fan base is prominent and hyped up for this season. Give us your take on this game and who comes out on top in Blacksburg's Virginia.
Yeah, Nate. So two quick notes
Blacksburg.
about this game. I think, Nate, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time we've talked about Rutgers maybe here on Break the Huddle? I think it.
Yep,
I
it
can't remember.
definitely is.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So welcome Rutgers. We're excited to talk about you. And then second of all, Nate, this is Lane Stadium is a destination stadium for me. I just want to go experience Inner Sandman. Such a cool tradition. Just one of the great things about college football. But yeah, I
Absolutely.
want to start out with Rutgers. 2-0. Granted, the competition hasn't been great. They beat up on Howard the opening weekend on Thursday night, and then a couple weeks ago against Akron. And the offenses looked good. The defenses looked, has shut down things. Nate, big thing that stands out to me is 614 rushing yards for this team in 2 games. So they've got a very, very explosive running game. It seems like the passing game is still trying to get its legs under us with their quarterback Ethan Kalikmanis, I believe. I might have butchered that a little bit, but Rutgers is you mentioned a little bit of an unknown and one of those teams that they fly under the radar. A lot of people do not associate them with the Big Ten either, but Greg Schiano's done a good job. He does a good job recruiting up there in the Northeast. They get a lot of guys that kind of fly under the radar, and he's just got a good underrated team up there. This 3.5, mate, I got to tell you, I think it's a good spread. I think Virginia Tech's in for a battle. And look, I've been impressed with the Hokies, especially their response. I was really, really surprised, Nate, that they lost to Vandy on opening weekend. Because I'm going to tell you, man, I thought Virginia Tech was a little bit of a sleeper going into the season to possibly win the ACC. And look, that is still very, very possible. And I don't want to jump too far into the schedule, but you look at they've got Miami and they've got Clemson, but a very, very manageable schedule. And like I said, I don't want to go too deep, but Virginia Tech under Brent Pry has bounced back very, very nicely since that loss to Vanderbilt on opening weekend. Nate, one of my favorite players in college football, he's so much fun, is Kyron Drones. This is a guy that started last year, and he's big and he's physical. And you think about kind of these power spread offenses, and they're big on quarterback power and getting him involved in the run game. Nate, he goes 6'2", 235. Bottom line is defenses don't want to have to tackle this guy for 4 quarters. And I think he's still developing and evolving as a passer. But his legs, to me, are what make the difference in this ball game. I just think he's going to wear that Rutgers defense down, and Tootin, their primary running back. He's very, very talented. I think you're going to see some read option, obviously, in this game. But I'm going to take the Hokies in this one. Like I said, I think that physical run style and having to try to tackle Kyron Jones for 4 quarters just wears Rutgers down. I will say I think you're going to see Rutgers in this game. They're going to be really, really dedicated to running the football, setting up play action passes, trying to keep that Virginia Tech offense off the field. But give me the Hokies, and give me the Hokies to go over the spread. I think Virginia Tech wins this one by 14 points.
Wow, Brad, coming out hot. And to your point, I mean, Kyron Drones was expected to be, I don't want to say a Heisman front runner, but he was expected to have a breakout year. This was Virginia Tech's year to take that next jump, to have that Michael Vick-like season, and he's disappointed. I don't want to say disappointed. One thing that I've noticed, Brad, though, over the last few weeks is they're making him throw a lot. He's got 80 attempts, and when you have the guy throwing the ball that much and then using his feet on top of that, it's going to wear him down early. You got to manage his attempts. It's like managing pitch count in baseball. Over time, the more attempts you throw, chances are it's going to be a little bit more sore. He's going to take some more hits. You got to mix it up in the play action, like you mentioned. You got to mix it up in the run game. And they've done it, but I don't think they've done it well. I'm hoping that they can get back to that style of play this week. And granted, when you have an athlete like Kyron Jones, it's hard to pump the brakes, so to speak. You know, you just it's all pedal to the metal. And with that being said, to your point, I mean, Rutgers is going to try to run the ball. They've got one of the best running backs in all of the nation this year in Kyle I don't know if I pronounced this right. Kyle Manangi. Hope I pronounced that right. Manangi. Regardless, guy's a beast, okay? You're going to see him on the field on Saturday. He's going to put up a lot of yards. I think he's got 4 touchdowns in 2 games, 373 yards. That's pretty impressive, Brad. And then on the other side, as I mentioned, Virginia Tech coming into this game looking to build some momentum moving forward. Lost their season opener in a tough one against Vanderbilt. Probably should have won that game too. Nonetheless, I'm on the fence on this one, Brad. In the end, I think I'm going to take the Virginia Tech Hokies in a close one. I think Kyron Jones makes just a few more plays against that Rutgers defense. But Rutgers is a good team. I want to apologize to the fans, too. I pronounce them as the Rutgers Knights. They're the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I just want to make sure I get that right. But Rutgers fans, we appreciate you watching. I think they're going to put up a fight. And look, Brad and I could very easily be wrong in this matchup, but give me the Virginia Tech Hokies in a close one. I'm going to say by a field goal. I think Rutgers keeps it close. Let us know down in the comments who you think will win this Big Ten versus ACC matchup in Blacksburg, Virginia.